Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Here's what's coming up within the half hour. Temperature rises amid wildfires across Europe, which firefighters are battling to extinguish. US President Donald Trump gives Saudi Arabia conditions to signing its nuclear deal, said they have to join the Abraham Accords. Plus, the German Foreign Minister Johanna Vadpol makes a stopover in Lagos on his Africa tour. Let's begin the world today. Hey, thanks for joining us on the program. We begin with weather conditions across certain parts of Europe. France is evacuating as many as 20,000 people from the southwest and nearly 9,000 other people as wildfires spread in the Gironde region. Many of those who have had to leave the area overnight were visitors to local campsites at the Lège-Cap-Ferret Peninsula, and the latest evacuations also involved campsites as a precaution. The fires have destroyed about 3,100 hectares of land around the Bay Aracon, but it's been tough work putting out the fires. 2 local firefighters died earlier this week while fighting a fire near the Bordeaux airport. Interior Minister Laurent Nunez paid tribute to the 2 firefighters, expressing his infinite gratitude and unwavering support to their families. Several French departments have been ravaged by wildfires during a series of unusual and prolonged heat waves that have swept across Europe this summer. Crossing over to Spain, the Avila province, where firefighters battled all night to contain a wildfire as the fast-moving blaze threatened nearby communities. The wildfire broke out near Bugondo on Wednesday. It spread rapidly, prompting a major overnight response. Personnel from the military emergency unit were deployed to help contain the blaze before aerial firefighting operations resumed at first light. Authorities said the fire remained active at level 2, while its cause was still under investigation. Around 100 residents from the neighborhoods of Punta Nueva and Matacina were all spent the night away from their homes as a precaution, while about 200 children from Venero Claro summer camp were relocated to El Oso facilities after the fire intensified. Still pictures from Spain. Firefighters on the ground in the Madrid region, where they also battled blazes through Almarox in Toledo province. The fire broke out in the area and crossed the regional boundary within hours, threatening homes around Villa del Prado. Madrid authorities activated operational level 2 of the regional wildfire emergency plan. The El Encinar del Alberche residential area was evacuated, while residents of Villa del Prado were ordered to remain indoors. Several communities near Aldea del Fresno were also cleared, although most residents were allowed to return after midnight. El Encinar del Alberche remained evacuated this morning still. According to Madrid's government delegate, Francisco Martin, between 20 to 30 homes were overtaken by the flames. Some were destroyed, while others suffered exterior damage. No injuries or cases of smoke inhalation were reported. And Greece is our final stop on the wildfires today. Earlier today, firefighters tried to contain a wildfire near Thessaloniki after a major ground and air operation kept the flames away from nearby homes and infrastructure. The blaze broke out at around 9 a.m. local time in low vegetation at Derveni Environmental Park at the Orio Castro area. By early afternoon, no active fire front remained, although crews stayed at the scene to extinguish hotspots. The operation involved 120 firefighters, 33 vehicles, and 4 teams from the Hellenic Fire Services 2nd Special Forest Operations Unit. This included 12 Moldovan firefighters with 3 vehicles, while 7 aircraft and 3 helicopters carried out water drops. An emergency alert warned residents the smoke was moving towards the area, telling them to stay indoors and close windows and doors. Thessaloniki was under Category 3 high fire risk warning on July 23rd. Fire investigators were examining the cause of the blaze. Let's come now to the new agreement signed between the United States and Saudi Arabia, allowing the kingdom to develop nuclear energy. This deal, however, comes with a clause from President Donald Trump, who said in his Truth Social a while ago, a civil nuclear deal, there will be no enrichment of material, which pertains only to non-military use, will be approved, but is totally subject to Saudi Arabia joining the very respected and successful Abraham Accords. The Abraham Accords were brokered by Trump during his presidency in 2020. It secured the historic normalization of relations between Israel and two Arab nations, the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. Sudan, Morocco, and Kazakhstan have signed, but Saudi Arabia, which had previously said it would not recognize Israel without the establishment of a Palestinian state, has so far not responded to Trump's remarks. The Israeli Prime Minister's office, in its response, said Saudi Arabia joining the accords would be a historic leap forward for peace in the Middle East. Israel itself is widely believed to have nuclear weapons, but it neither confirms nor denies this. Well, the Trump administration may be getting ready to put pen to paper on that deal with Saudi Arabia, but some of the lawmakers in America say they're yet to see the contents of the deal. One of them is U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz.
I'd just be clear for the record, I understood you to mean the MOU that with Iran. I have not seen any
I'm talking about Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
So you have not.
Here's my
okay,
confusion.
so
No, I have not.
Oh, so you've not read. Okay, well, then he won't share it with you or us until some later date. He'll have to share it with us at a later date. But the press reports indicate that there'll be no, that Saudi Arabia is not agreeing to the additional protocol. The United Arab Emirates did agree to the additional protocol. Is there any reason we should be bombing Iran because they won't agree to limit their nuclear program, while telling Saudi Arabia we give them the green light and they don't even have to agree to these additional
absolutely.
inspections?
Meanwhile, former U.S. Ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, accused the Biden administration of damaging efforts to expand the Abraham Accords during a congressional hearing in Washington on Wednesday. Friedman told lawmakers that Donald Trump's first administration had moved Israel and several Arab states closer together by strongly backing Israel and confronting Iran. Now, asked whether Saudi Arabia could join the accords, Friedman said Riyadh's main concern was its national security as it faced tensions with Iran.
We were moving the region to peace. By standing closely with Israel and standing strongly against Iran and Hamas, President Trump was pursuing a policy that was embraced, not challenged, but embraced by moderate Arab countries. He also confirmed Israel's status as a regional superpower and a critical strategic partner in the region. It caused moderate Arab nations to want to partner with Israel. Now, when the Biden administration came in, the table was set to expand the Abraham Accords. But he reversed all of President Trump's policies that drove the Accords in the first place, including restoring Iran to a wealthy adversary with extraordinarily lax sanctions enforcement and providing UNRWA with over $1 billion in cash.
I want to bring in now Israeli national spokesman Alon Levy. Alon, thank you for joining us on the program. He's in Tel Aviv. The Israeli government has a few concerns, I understand, about the new nuclear deal signed between, well, should we say signed or about to be signed between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. The risk of proliferation is one of those concerns. So is domestic political fallout and lack of concessions. Is this just as concerning for Israel as when Iran had access to nuclear enrichment, uranium enrichment?
Nuclear enrichment opens a pathway to a nuclear bomb, and that's why no one in the world should want to see Saudi Arabia enriching its own nuclear material. That creates a pathway for a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. Saudi Arabia has already threatened that if Iran gets anywhere close to a nuclear weapon, it will try to build one itself. Israel would, of course, welcome Saudi Arabia having peaceful nuclear energy, but for that, it can import the nuclear fuel like the UAE. It doesn't need to enrich it itself. That's why it's very good that President President Trump is saying that there will be no enrichment on Saudi soil and that any progress will be dependent on Saudi Arabia making peace with Israel. For too long, Arab countries in the region have refused to have diplomatic relations with Israel. And here is President Trump using his weight, using American power to force countries that should be speaking together, should have peace, to finally sit and talk.
But this is a civil nuclear deal that's been in the works, we understand, since former U.S. President Joe Biden. Why do you think it's taken so long to finalize, and why now?
Well, historically, the United States has held out the possibility of a civilian nuclear deal if Saudi Arabia makes peace with Israel. The United States wants the Arab countries to get over their historical grudges, whatever strange historical reasons they won't make peace with Israel, and finally embrace Israel, make peace, have diplomatic relations, have trading relations, work with it to develop the region against extremism. And so they've been holding out that possibility of a civilian nuclear deal as a prize for Saudi Arabia making peace. And I hope now that when President Trump says that this deal depends on Saudi Arabia making peace, that he means it. Because when you look at how dangerous the region is, when you look at the scale of the development challenges, there really are no excuses for Saudi Arabia to refuse diplomatic relations with Israel. It's a long time now that they sit down, build relations with Israel, and the whole region can develop together.
And the U.S. President Donald Trump says the deal will only be approved when Saudi Arabia joins the Abraham Accords. Does that give you some assurance that the deal will be implemented within the confines of the conditions? And do you think joining the Abraham Accords is a condition that Saudi Arabia is willing to fulfill?
Yeah, everyone should be calling on Saudi Arabia to make peace with Israel. There is no territorial dispute between the countries. They don't even share a border. There is no reason for these countries not to have peace. And all countries should be using their leverage to get the Arab world to make peace and have normal relations with Israel. So I think there are two concerns here. One is that Saudi Arabia could get this reward while still embracing conflict rather than peace. And the second is that enrichment opens the door to a nuclear bomb. That's why it's critical that President Trump is saying no nuclear enrichment. But hey, we haven't seen the deal. The world deserves to see the deal, understand exactly what is in it, and to have very firm guarantees that Saudi Arabia can import nuclear energy if that's what it wants, even though it's got plenty of oil and plenty of sunlight. It can import nuclear energy, but it cannot enrich its own nuclear material. That opens a door to a nuclear bomb. That opens a door to a nuclear arms race. And that's something no one wants to see.
And that's what's been going on with Iran. They did have the opportunity to enrich uranium. Well, they said for peaceful purposes. And now the rest of the world is worried and concerned Iran is developing a nuclear bomb. Ireland, thank you again for speaking with us on the program. We're off on a short break on The World Today. Still ahead. So this is a viral motorcycle trend, especially in China. It's becoming a roaring success in Chongqing. Stay with us for the details. Welcome back to The World Today. Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir today visited the Al-Aqsa mosque compound in Jerusalem, praising Jewish visitors who he said had prayed there in defiance of the site's long-standing arrangements. The visit during the Jewish fasting day of Tisha B'Av drew condemnation from Jordan and Palestinian officials who accused Ben-Gvir of violating the status quo governing one of the Middle East's most sensitive religious sites. Known to Jews as the Temple Mount, the compound is Judaism's holiest site and Islam's third holiest site. It is administered by a Jordanian religious foundation under agreements or arrangements allowing non-Muslims to visit but not to pray. Ben-Gvir has repeatedly called for expanded Jewish prayer nights at the site. His visits have drawn criticism from Jordan, the Palestinian Authority, and other Arab governments, which warned that any change could inflame regional tensions. Jordan condemned today's visit as unacceptable. while Palestinian officials accused Ben-Gvir of breaching the established arrangements. There was no immediate response from the Israeli Prime Minister's office following previous visits by Ben-Gvir. Prime Minister Netanyahu has insisted Israel's official policy towards the compound has not changed. Well, the situation in the Middle East is, as it concerns food and energy security, supply chain and resilience and regional stability have topped the agenda of ASEAN. China, Japan and South Korea gathered for the 27th ASEAN Plus 3 Foreign Ministers meeting in Pasay City today. China's Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Hua Chunying, warned that instability in the Middle East is having global consequences, saying the world has entered a new period of turbulent change. The situation in the Middle East has spillovers affecting energy, food and supply chain safety and resilience. South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Hyun stated that disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz have exposed vulnerabilities which had long been simply hypothetical, and that they have both our food and energy security under severe strain. Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi called for deeper regional cooperation, saying ASEAN Plus 3 should help tackle challenges including energy, food security, aging populations, and disaster prevention.
At a time when our peoples are feeling the effects of global uncertainty in very real ways through rising food and energy prices, disrupted supply chains, financial volatility, climate impacts, and concerns over security, ASEAN Plus 3 remains highly relevant. We are now working towards the ratification of the Chiang Mai Initiative Multilateralization Agreement, or Rapid Financing Facility, which will provide prompt liquidity support in the event of sudden external shocks. The APT Emergency Rice Reserve enables us to share resources during emergencies and for humanitarian relief. This ensures that in times of crisis, our people can continue to have access to essential food supplies.
The crisis before us today is no less serious. Disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz have exposed vulnerabilities which had long been simply hypothetical. They have placed both our food and energy security under severe strain. The Republic of Korea will continue to make every effort to achieve peaceful coexistence and shared prosperity on the Korean Peninsula by resuming dialogue with the DPRK.
Economic relations between Nigeria and Germany are deepening as the German Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul leads a strong delegation to the country. Mr. Wadephul is on his third visit to Africa this year. He says Germany wants to work together with Nigeria, one of Germany's most important trade partners. They say there are no permanent friends nor permanent enemies in international relations. But for Germany, Nigeria is a friend it intends to keep close because of its strategic importance to the continent of Africa and Europe. Germany's Foreign Minister Johann Wadephul re-emphasized that importance when he highlights the main reason he is in Nigeria.
Trade and investments are key pillars of our partnership. I'm therefore particularly pleased to be visiting Lagos today, together with a German business delegation, in order to deepen our economic ties even further. Energy is an area in which we can significantly promote our cooperation by building on existing German-Nigerian energy partnership and on the work of our H2 Diplo office. The conflict around the Strait of Hormuz is once again demonstrating the important role Nigeria can play as a reliable energy supplier to the democratic world.
And while countries of the world are doubling down on immigration laws, Mr. Wadephul says Germany is making room for more Nigerian students who wish to study in the country.
Nigerians' young and dynamic IT talent has the potential to become an important partner for Germany's Mittelstand, a beautiful German word well known worldwide. We are closely working together to address the challenges of digitalization and demographic change. Many of our cooperation projects focus on skill development and job creation for the youth.
Members of Mr. Vatpul's delegation are German business executives, either already invested in Nigeria or here to begin partnerships.
What we're doing with the Nigerian government is we create a digital backbone for their national electrification program, so that they know where there's about 80 million people in Nigeria who don't have access to modern electricity. And the question is, how do you best reach them?
I'm in Nigeria because I think that the technology we are providing, which is to monitor large infrastructure like roads, pipelines, train tracks, can be very beneficial for Nigeria. And we would like to expand possibilities of cooperation with local construction companies in Nigeria to help them to make their construction last for many, many years to come.
It's a full couple of days for the German delegation, which intends to discuss other issues such as regional developments, peace and security, and economic integration for Nigeria and for West Africa. Well, staying with bilateral relations, China has reaffirmed its commitment to Nigeria through Brick and Mortar Initiative for Vulnerable Children. The Consulate General of the People's Republic of China in Lagos, in collaboration with the Chinese community, held a groundbreaking ceremony for the China-Nigeria Friendship Orphanage Home in Shagamu, Ogun State, which will provide shelter, learning resources, and a safe environment for orphans and other vulnerable children in the community. Speaking at the ceremony, Chinese Consul General in Lagos, Yan Yuqing, said the project reflects the compassion of the Chinese community in Nigeria. Construction of the orphanage is expected to continue over the coming months as part of efforts to deepen people-to-people ties between Nigeria and China. Well, here's something you might experience in Chongqing, China. A stunning viral motorcycle video trend becoming a roaring success, especially among tourists, allowing visitors to jump on the back of a bike and become the star of their own cinematic rides through the Chinese city's neon light streets. Local riders and videographers offer special packages, allowing thrill seekers to get in the hot seat and have their journey shot in extra special movie style, with footage showing one such stunning package, including a special effects and slow-mo, as well as other fans queuing up for their own taste of stardom. Popular routes pass Ninbin Road, Dongshueming Bridge, and Raffles City, using the city's illuminated skyline, bridges, and fast-moving traffic as a dramatic backdrop. Chongqing has long been known as China's motorcycle capital, built on one of the country's largest motorcycle manufacturing industries. And a light, I guess, for content creators. Thanks for watching The World Today. I'm Amarachi Ubani.